You guys all read the script, right?
Lana, Ramon vouches for them. I vouch for him.
These three were my best friends.
Fuck those guys.
Everybody love everybody!
Welcome back to Vouch for Me. With me, as always, I have Eric West.
Hey, everybody. It's Morbin time.
Oh, it's more Abraham Lincoln.
No, it's Morbin time.
It's not stopping, folks. It's not. It's going to be referenced throughout the whole film, and we are reviewing the amazing, the daytime vampire, Morbius. Wait, was it the daytime vampire?
I think his tagline is like the living vampire or something like that.
The living vampire. Yeah,
The daytime vampire. The nightlight vampire.
The Daywalker is what I was thinking of from Blade. The living vampire is what I meant to reference. Sorry, I'm so
the
sorry,
Twilight
fans.
vampire. Not the Twilight vampire. That's a different franchise.
That's it.
We already did The Lighthouse.
All these movies, I'm getting confused. Abel, do you want to give us a quick synopsis of Morbius?
So this was Sony's failed attempt at trying to create a Sonyverse with Venom using Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man. Morbius follows Michael Morbius, an esteemed doctor who specializes in blood-borne diseases, blood work, blood studies, whatever, who was sick and used vampire blood to try and cure his disease, and instead becomes the living vampire Morbius. And then he has to battle with his hunger to stop himself from killing people, while his evil brother then turns himself into a vampire to cure himself, and then they come to blows.
Yeah, and those blows are crazy. They were just out there blowing each other back and forth. It was kind of wild. And then their girlfriend turns into a vampire. This, guys, is the last of our trilogy of critical bombs.
She was a doctor, she would remind you.
Whoa, Eric, spoiler for the fans. Jesus.
Well, I guess.
This movie made a more $1 billion. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it by now.
That's true. You're
Really?
absolutely right.
Wow.
It was so successful that they put it twice in theaters. It was issued once, and then Sony saw all the success, and they're like, let's put it in theaters one more time.
They saw the Morbin time memes and like the more $1 billion memes, and they got tricked into thinking people wanted to see the movie again, so they put it back out and it made like $300,000.
Jesus Christ.
That's like $200 per theater.
Yeah, they only put it in 1,000 theaters. That's so fucking hilarious to me. Can you even imagine? So this was Abel's pick. You know, we're going to play it fast and loose. We're going to keep it a short recap. We have, some production notes, but what is coming, what's great about all of these critical bombs is there's so much in the background. There's so much stuff going on social media. And so we will have to look at some of the letterbox for these. For example, one of the letterbox was like, first date idea, take her to see a Morbius in the theaters and tell her it's empty because you rented out the whole theater. And I thought that was so great. But we'll sprinkle more of those.
Hell no.
Well, you're just disappointed it wasn't your idea.
Shit. Oh no.
Morbius seemed like it had a lot of potential. We'll talk about production here in a minute.
Yeah, that potential was left on the cutting room floor.
Papa Nasty, what do you know about Morbius as a character from the comics, first and foremost, before we even get into, what they try to do cinematically with Jared Leto?
And where did they go wrong with the adaptation?
Oh, man. So much to dissect. So Morbius is not really a vampire, like the original get bitten by another vampire, becomes a vampire. He gets spliced with DNA from a bat, or a vampire bat. That's what causes him, because they do some experiment, and that's what causes him to become the way he is, become Morbius. And so he has some of the strengths of a vampire per se, not any of their weaknesses. His only weakness is to light, but even then it's not like it'd kill him. It's just like he's sensitive to it.
Aw, he's got eczema.
Yeah, pretty much. Or he's an albino, pretty much.
Oh.
But even then, if he returns to human form, he is fine. Is what I was looking into. But no, he's not a vamp. He's not the traditional vampire. So holy water, garlic is not going to affect him as much.
So Blade wouldn't come after his ass?
Blade wouldn't come after his ass, but he might come after his ass. So he does have to rely on human blood to satisfy that craving, because he does have those cravings like a vampire. But one thing that no one ever touches upon the comics and the film is that why wouldn't animal blood be sufficient? That's the thing that doesn't make any sense to me, because vampire bats don't fucking feed on vampire bats. They feed on animals. So why wouldn't why wouldn't Morbius, who spliced his own DNA with vampire bats, want to go and fucking eat a moose or a bear or whatever the hell that is in the territory? But like, why wouldn't animal blood be sufficient if it is sufficient for the vampire bat?
I completely agree.
That's to me that bugged me. I'm like, come on.
So my 2 cents regarding that is like, well, when you consider that vampire bats are mythical creatures / myths in general, obviously the rules just don't make sense because they're not grounded in reality, because vampires don't exist.
Vampires don't exist, but if we're going with the nature of the film, which really is trying to bring home the idea that he was spliced with vampire bat DNA. Apparently vampire bats will bite their victim and lick the blood as they're like feasting on them, but they don't necessarily suck the blood. And like you said, it's animals. It's not like just humans are out there getting got. It's any animal in the kingdom. So it's kind of like he could have went to a zoo and did some real damage, but they didn't want that crossover. They didn't want the Madagascar Morbius crossover.
If I recall, I think I remember the scientific explanation for vampires was it was probably just people dying from TB. Because they'd cough up blood, they'd look pale because they're dying and shit.
A TB, tuberculosis?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that would have been a much different take on this movie, as if instead he would bite people, they survived and then died of tuberculosis. And then it really could turn into an allegory, guys, because I think this movie ultimately came out in 2022. It was filmed in 2020. The bats were involved. I think this is an allegory for COVID. I think he's patient zero. I think that this is a whistleblowing and they're trying to tell us what really happened. Mm-hmm. It started in a lab. It just happened in the U.S. instead.
And it had something to do with bats.
Yeah,
it had
Jared
something
Little
to do with
fucked a bat.
We knew it. It was on his weird cult island.
The 30 Seconds to Mars Island.
Don't worry, I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad.
Oh no.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Great.
I can't do the laugh.
No, you sounded like the It's Cow Tipping guy. Okay, guys, I did not do research on Jared Leto, which I now realize is a huge oversight. But what do you guys know about Jared Leto?
Where is the intern?
I know.
Jared Leto might be a vampire. He might be a fucking vampire. That guy's 50-something years old and Morbius and looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, that has to be his real physique. He looked great.
Yeah, all hate for like how creepy the guy is and like how much of an asshole he is in general, but he looks good for his age.
No, is he an asshole?
Oh, he's a fucking massive piece of shit from what I hear.
Oh, that's sad. I mean, I knew he's a weirdo, but...
I remember, you know how he's notorious for like method acting? Like he'll just go out of his way just... If he plays a piece of shit character, he'll be a piece of shit in real life. When he was filming Morbius, he would walk in those crutches even when they weren't shooting. He'd take like 45-minute walks to the fucking bathroom. And so they just got tired of his shit and put him in a wheelchair and took him to the bathroom.
No fucking way. No way.
But anyways, I forgot which actor was criticizing him. But they're like, I hate this method acting bullshit because no one method acts when they play a nice character. I think it's just an excuse for them to be a fucking asshole and get away with it.
Didn't he do the same for Suicide Squad when he worked on that set?
Yeah, he would like send them like used condoms and like other like nasty things to the cast.
Dead animals.
How do you feel about this Papa Nasty?
Yeah.
Papa Nasty, is that too nasty for you?
Too nasty for me. That's a little too...
And then on the 30 Seconds to Mars Island, he just walks around in a cloak like Jesus or something, and his fans worship him or something. It's just like, it gives like real cult vibes. Like I'd show up there like Hank Hill and be like, excuse me, are you with the cult? No, we're the 30 Seconds to Mars fan club. Looks like we're in the right place.
Isn't he part of a band too?
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, but
yeah,
what the fuck
that's that bad. But I do want to go back to that original bit.
Their music was actually pretty good back in the day.
It was pretty good. All right, Papa Nasty. What do you give Jared Leto, human being, on the nasty meter?
An 11 out of 10.
Good job. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Let's do some production stuff real quick. We're going to bounce around with this one. This is unofficially the roast of Morbius. You know, but this is fun. That's the thing is like this movie is one of those movies that's so bad it's good.
It's one of the movies of all time.
What? 15% on Rotten Tomato, but audience score gave it a 71%.
I think that's inverted review bombing, probably people raising it for the memes because it was probably part of the tactics used to get Sony to re-release the movie.
It's absolutely insane to me. The budget, 83 million, box office, 167.5 million, guys. They made their money back.
But they expected it to be like the Sony-verse level success. They were expecting to see like a lot more money.
Yeah, they thought it was going to make them a lot more money. I mean, Spider-Man, they keep raking in money from. Also, I mean, what they don't account for is this is just the budget for the film. What does a marketing budget look like? That's the one question I have. So I really do wonder if essentially they might have broken even on this, but who ultimately knows unless we can do that. Taking it back to the year 2022 when this movie was released. So considering it got a whopping, whatever the fuck I just said as I clicked away, 167, Puss in Boots beat it at $185 million domestic gross.
Was that The Last Wish?
Yeah.
That was
Last
amazing.
Wish. Yeah, that movie was actually pretty good. And
I fucking
that
loved
one
it.
got popular like Morbius for the memes too, because Death was in the movie for like 5 minutes, but people kept posting his scenes on social media because he was by far the best part of the movie.
Yeah, and then plus the furry community was about it too. I know that much because I'm a part of the furry community.
Yeah,
Meow,
see,
meow.
hey, woof, woof.
Death was played by the guy that played Pablo Escobar in Narcos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
That guy didn't know Spanish until he learned that role, and then he started
Yeah,
learning Spanish.
I read that a lot of people criticized Narcos because his Spanish accent was off because he's Brazilian. They speak Portuguese in Brazil, so like his Spanish does not sound natural.
That's crazy.
¿Dónde está biblioteca?
They beat out Morbius, but that's the 10th one. So I want to take you guys through it really quick. 2022, what were better movies to see that actually made some money? Of course, you have Top Gun Maverick, Avatar: The Way of Waters, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Jurassic World, Dominion, Minions: The Rise of Gru, which also beat out the Batman, but that is a discussion for another time. Thor: Love and
What?
Thunder, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I think you underestimate how many people go to see Minions.
Yeah, no, I mean, holy shit.
Can't
I'm surprised.
underestimate the number of people that showed up to this hoping for a good movie. So what this also comes down to, I think, what went wrong? What the hell went wrong with this movie? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. We can blame the director. Part of me feels like we can blame the writers.
Yeah, the script was all over the place.
We had good actors. The writing was bad.
Bad villain. That was probably the biggest problem. Like a villain that's just kind of, they could have went a different angle with it. They could have tried to connect Milo as the villain, which they could have totally went with like Blade. They could have went with Punisher. They could have went with Ghost Rider.
I read that in the original version of the script, Milo was supposed to be a different character entirely, but then they switched him up and just made him Morbius's brother because I guess they couldn't decide what the fuck they wanted to do with him.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest fault. But I don't know. Is it also Jared Leto? I mean, he fucked up Joker. He's arguably the worst Joker. And then he does Morbius and it tanks. I know there's people online saying that like he should just stick away from comic films. Like that's not his forte.
I would love to see a gentleman who played Milo. We have to use his name properly, or else the Doctor
Matt Smith.
Yep, the Doctor Who fans will absolutely lose their mind. Mm-hmm. I want to see him in more things. First of all, absolutely ripped. And I can kind of see why those little Whovilles, those little Who's are big into him. Because I was like, oh, okay, all right, I see the charm.
Have sex.
You're like, Horton, here's a who?
Dude, Doctor Who, more like Doctor Where is your penis?
Dr.
All right,
Way.
anyways. All right.
What?
Way.
Wait, Doctor, where's your jeez? That is terrible. That is fucking terrible.
The writers, what did the writers do before Morbius? Turns out they started 2014 Dracula Untold. That doesn't tell you anything. When they tried to make a Dracula,
That was great.
they tried to do a monster universe. That was a good movie.
That was really good.
I thought I Frankenstein was supposed to be the start of that.
Well, they didn't write that one, but still, you said Dracula Untold is actually a good movie.
It's actually fucking good.
Okay, so maybe that's
Abel,
where.
did you ever see it?
I know. Sounds like we'll have to see whether or not we vouch for him later.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, there we go.
It's I wouldn't say it's a marry, but it's a watch. Yeah, no, it's good. That one's really good.
They did The Last Witch Hunter, never heard of it. Gods of Egypt.
Terrible.
They co-wrote
Terrible.
Power Rangers, which at the end of the day was a bad movie, but I enjoyed it, obviously.
I liked Power Rangers. It's a crime that the sequel never happened.
Didn't see it.
I liked it a lot. Morbius, and then the last movie they wrote, Madam Web.
Piece of shits.
I
God
know,
damn.
it was their fault. I knew the moment I brought
Fucking
that up, you were
assholes.
about to lose all credit. They were about to lose all credibility.
It's so, Madam Web is so bad, guys. We're not going to review it. It's so, maybe we'll review it, but it's so bad.
I was considering making a last minute change to Madam Web, but I decided to stick to Morbius for the memes, but I am curious to see Madam Web just to see how bad it was.
That's fucking,
Oh my
dude,
God.
I love it. I absolutely love the idea.
Where's that guy? He's going to kill us. We need to go. Let's go. It's just, that's Dakota Fanning. Yeah, I mean, she tries.
I remember reading, so I wanted to bring up this thing about both Matt Smith and Dakota Johnson. So Matt Smith had turned down movies previously regarding superhero movies because he thought he wasn't interested in them. And so when he was offered this role in Morbius, he contacted, I don't know if I say her last name right, Karen Gillian or Jillian, whatever. She plays Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy, and she was also in Doctor Who. That's how he knows her. And he asked her, like, what's it like being in these Marvel films? And she's like, oh, it's great. You should totally do it. And so he signs off for Morbius thinking he's part of the MCU. And then Tyrese Gibson, guy who plays one of the FBI guys, he thought he was in the MCU too because he was tagging Marvel Studios and like Kevin Feige in his Instagram post when he was hyping up Morbius. And then going into Madam Web, Dakota Johnson was on the fence about being in Madam Web 2 when Sony contacted her, and she ran into Elizabeth Olsen in a hotel lobby, and she asked her what it's like being in the MCU, and she was like, oh, it's a lot of fun. Go for it. And yeah, these people need to fire their fucking agents. They are being lied to.
Poor Tyrese. He tries, and he just always gets the shit end of the stick.
Sydney Sweeney was also tagging Marvel Studios when she was hyping up Madam Web.
Oh, Sydney Sweeney. Eric, what did you say about Sydney Sweeney the other day when we were talking about her?
Boy, oh boy.
Bay.
I thought she was funny on she wasn't on SNL. I like her. She's got a she's a little cutie. I like her personality a lot. And then she has a great body. She has a great body, and she has these cute little teeth. And she's like,
yeah, that's not even like up for debate.
But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about her. I'm pretty impartial. I think we were all enamored by her.
I remember seeing this one tweet where someone said, like, if I see her in a fucking Spider-Woman outfit in Madam Web, I'm gonna start barking in the theater.
Oh, shit.
That's incredible. Not the fucking ruff. Oh my God. Sydney Sweeney, we're big time fans. And if you ever are on the pod, we will not objectify you, I promise.
I loved her in Anyone But You. Yeah, I liked it. If you're down for a dumb rom-com to watch, it's actually pretty
That's great
decent.
to hear. You know who hasn't directed any rom-coms? The man who directed Morbius, Daniel Espinosa, because he's directed things obviously we've never heard of. The only thing, 2017 Life, I think you knew about that movie, Abel.
Yeah, it's one of those like alien horror movies, and I think it was kind of famous for billing Ryan Reynolds on the top billing, like, you know, like he's marketed as the main character and he dies like 15 minutes into the movie because he gets killed by the alien.
Can't afford him. Child 44, no one's ever heard of it.
Do you have any idea what he was doing to our budget?
Apparently this guy really liked working with Ryan Reynolds before he got fucking bought by Fox.
Sony?
Well, he got bought by Sony, and then Ryan Reynolds got bought by Fox because there's a bunch. Yeah,
Suck it, Fox. I'm going
seriously,
to Disneyland.
dude. There's a bunch of movies with Ryan Reynolds. Safe House, apparently. But yeah, so Espinosa, unheard of.
That's not bad.
And then the writer's unheard of. And so this.
Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, I saw this one tweet about how Ryan Reynolds refuses to let his family watch Green Lantern.
Refuses.
And a bunch of people were roasting that on Twitter, saying like, bro, Green Lantern's not even the worst movie he was in. He needs to chill the fuck out. Like, he has been in a lot of bad movies before he was in
What would
Deadpool.
happen if Ryan Reynolds walked in on his son watching Green Lantern? Hey, Timmy. Knock, knock, knock. Opens the door. And there he is, laptop on the bed. Lights are off. And he could see Green Lantern on the screen. What is his reaction? What's his reaction? What's wrong? Is it rage?
I don't even know.
He beats his son. He beats his son with the laptop.
Not unreasonable.
He develops a fucking red ring right there on the spot.
I like. See, that's a movie I want to see. All right, we're on to something here. But that's not the movie we saw. We saw Morbius.
Yeah.
Abel, you made us.
This is the roast of Morbius, not the
Abel,
roast
you
of Green
made us
Lantern.
watch this movie. This is your fault. So what up? You want to do the recap?
So the pacing of this movie is kind of all over the place. We just open up with a scene in fucking what country was it? It was somewhere in South America.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. So he's in Costa Rica. He's doing a study on vampire bats. He's gonna capture them, and like they're like hyping them up to be like far more dangerous than vampire bats are in real life. They're like, we shouldn't be here after dark and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm no like major biologist, but I'm under the impression vampire bats are generally not dangerous to humans. So he needs to chill the fuck out. Maybe he's just superstitious. Or this is like special. Maybe this is just special Marvel vampire bats where they are like a menace to society.
Exactly. They're always robbing people. They're fucking. Yeah, it's like they're always taking their EBD cards into gas
trying to
stations.
buy drinks for people in the club.
Whoa, Eric, are we talking about vampire bats or Mexican bats? You son of a bitch.
No, I was talking about fucking Milo.
Are they stealing jobs too, Eric?
Yeah. No, I was talking about Milo when he was trying to buy drinks for that girl
Milo
in
was
the
an
club.
absolute creep, dude. I mean, I don't think he was a creep. Actually, I'm lying.
No, she was about it because her guy she was with was an asshole.
Statement. I was like, go for it, Milo. But we'll get there. Milo was the saving grace.
But anyways, he captures some vampire bats and he takes them back to his lab.
That scene was weird though, because he just cuts his hand with the machete to call upon the vampire bats when he's supposed to be a doctor. And it's like, you wouldn't have anything sanitary to cut your hand with? Just a fucking random machete that who knows what this guy cuts it with?
I think it's probably to make him look edgy because he's supposed to be an anti-hero. He don't play by the rules.
Yeah. Oh, that's a valid point too. He's an anti in the comics.
What's the thing, dude? What's that thing that he fucking pulls up? That he attracts the bats to?
I don't even know what that thing was.
I'm confused.
I don't know.
But in the comics, they're popping nasty after I cut you off 2 times in a row. That's my superpower. I'm so good at it.
Point, though. Like, how would he? How did they capture the bats? But also, yeah, it's like you're a doctor. You can just fucking pull out some random blood. You could just pull it out that you could have gotten from like the local villager. Like it was a really stupid scene. I'm like, okay, here we go. But yeah, how did he transfer the bats from Costa Rica to was it Manhattan or were they based out of New York?
Somewhere in New York.
In that fucking container. And nobody knew about it. I don't know.
How did he get that through customs? Because
how'd you get that sent over?
Wouldn't immigration stop that shit because they're like to prevent the spread of diseases and shit?
Dude, they're like COVID just happened.
Yeah, no, that's when those bats went to China, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna experiment on this bat, or
no, that's propaganda. The bats came from Costa Rica,
or put it in the soup. Let's make some Costa Rica bat soup, and then bam,
damn.
COVID.
Oh man!
All right.
That's just a theory.
Anyways, then we get like a flashback to when he was in school / children's hospital in Greece, I believe, and we see him and his brother Milo. I don't think he's like actually his blood brother. They're kind of like adopted.
Yeah, it is his adopted
like
brother. But then also the hallmark of a movie is going to be fucking terrible is when they have to tell you 10 years earlier rather than have you infer that this is clearly him.
It was 25. It was 25 years.
Wait a minute, who are these young kids? Oh, yes, I need to know. Yeah, because I'm fucking stupid.
And apparently Michael Morbius is like a gifted child because he saves Milo's life by just jerry-rigging his IV machine, I think, with a pen. And so the doctor at the hospital is like, you know what? You seem like a genius. I'm going to make sure your schooling gets funded.
Yep. Just that one little act and then his paper maches. And that lets us know as the audience that he's a genius. And granted, Milo's not even his actual name. He just like gets the name. It's actually Lucian, and even the doctor says, like, you saved Milo. It's like, what the fuck, guys? His name is Lucian,
after they joke, like, he blatantly, after Michael blatantly talks about his joke of all the Milos dying before him. Also, that doctor who is, like, their unofficial, mentor dad figure, right?
Caretaker.
Yeah. Because he adopts both of them, basically.
He says something about a school for gifted children. I wonder if that could have been X-Men.
This would have been the part where Ryan Reynolds turns at the screen and is like, am I going to the X Mansion?
But do they both get out of there after? I mean, yeah, they get shortly after this. Some bullies beat up a cripple kid. Blah blah blah. Normal stuff that happens in movies, but
Yeah, because who didn't want to be able to cripple kid growing up? You know, you see them walking, you know, just being annoying. You're like, hey, come here, you fucking three-legged freak, and just
wait,
beat
you
him up.
can't because you can't walk.
yeah, you see a kid in crutches, and your first thought is like, oh, let me hurt that guy. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
How many cripple kids did you beat up, Eric, when you were a young kid in the streets of Greek?
So
Greece?
many. I was really cool. Everyone thought I was so cool. Because anyone I saw.
But after that, I think we cut back to the present, and he's doing his whole little gene splicing work and stuff. We meet his assistant, the other doctor. It was
Martine
Beast something. It was like her last name was with a B.
The fact that no, it's a sign because she's so unmemorable in the movie. It's not your fault.
Yeah, she's a flat character. She has nothing that really like stands out about her, and like she's supposed to be like his like pseudo love interest, but they have like non-existent chemistry. Like I was like pressed to believe that like when like he starts like being protective of her, like wait, so he actually does have feelings for her? I thought like I don't know.
Yeah, Milo references her like, oh, she's been keeping you away, like blah blah blah. I'm like, wait, those guys are a couple? But then when I was looking into the Dracula, into the Morbius comics, that is his fiance. She's not a doctor in the comics, but for some reason in the film they decided to make her his partner.
Martine Bancroft, played by Audria Bancroft, played by Adria
Bancroft.
Arjona.
But anyways, eventually his little experiment works, and then he tells Milo about it, and he's like, first I need to test it on myself, basically, because it's not legal, it's going to be expensive, blah, blah, blah. And so they go through this whole ordeal of like just taking himself onto a boat into international waters, because apparently like it was too sketchy for him to do it in the basement of his lab. Anyways, I mean, like, what would have changed anything? They were still going to investigate the crime when the boat comes back and everyone on it's dead.
There ain't no laws in international water, quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah, so then he injects himself with the blood, and then he turns into Morbius, the living vampire. And then he kills all the mercenaries on the boat. And then he gets all butthurt because Bancroft gets hurt by the mercenaries. And so he just goes to town on all of them and feasts on all of them.
Dude, she barely gets pushed. Of course, has the classic, gets pushed, hits her head, and then like the next scene after the boat ride, she's in intensive care. It's like what
Yeah,
the
she's
fuck?
got a
How did that
respirator on. She's in a coma.
a fucking neck brace and everything. Like, what?
So movies tend to downplay the damage concussion does. If someone loses consciousness from a head injury, it's actually like kind of severe, and they do need to be hospitalized.
She was out for a while.
People in movies. Yeah.
I mean, we all were abused as children. We took in worse than falls, but her to just fall like that and just be in intensive care, I'm like, come on. And she's Mexican. This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it ain't that kind of movie. A well-written movie. I completely understand what you're saying. He fucks up all the mercs. Just some of the dialogue exchanges are so bad. Like the lead mercenary walks in and he's just like a regular looking guy. I'm absolutely still in Papanassi's joke. Yeah, I'm still in Papanassi's joke from earlier that he was telling me. But he comes in a regular looking guy, and then she calls him. She's like, "Oh, you're all." What did she say? You're all jacked up. Like he's some kind of like. Yeah, you're all like as if he's some kind of bodybuilder meathead. He's just like a regular dude with a gun. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And then he calls her nurse, and she's like, "It's doctor, actually." And he's just like, he's acting skeptical of it. Like, you're not a doctor, blah, blah. Just like, they're trying to make us not feel bad for him for when he inevitably gets killed in the next 30 seconds.
Why did he even need a check on the doctor? He had no right. He should have just stayed and played poker. He's a dumbass.
Yeah, and all that, so that we didn't explain, Milo Lucian, whatever, we'll just call him Milo, is actually pretty fucking rich. So he funds this whole operation. The mercenaries, the ship.
I was like not paying attention for a sec, so I feel like, why is Milo rich? Is it because he just like dabbles in like questionably legal activities? Is he a gambler or something?
I think it's his family, because when he shows up, he's in that really fucking nice car. when he first shows up to the hospital. And then he does have like little scenes of where like, yeah, I'm a gambler, and he lives life on the edge for being somebody that's at death's door. But I think it's just like generational wealth.
Yeah, when Morbius comes to visit him and the security guard's like, some cripple's here to see you, and then like, bro, how are you gonna act like you don't know who his fucking brother is?
It's pretty fucked up. But dude, it was Morbin time. He turned into Morbius for the first time, and then he jumped off of a boat in the middle of...
But he didn't say the line.
We'll just have to see when he says the line. He jumps off the boat in international waters and swims back to shore, is what we are to speculate.
I think he was trying to cover up the incident by just disappearing or something.
But it didn't work.
Or he flies, which what they hinted at, that he flies. But in the comics, he cannot fly. He can glide, but that's only due to like he can use like the wind and the current. But he cannot fly like how they make it in the comics, or how they make it in the movie. He can't just like, oh, here we go, Superman.
Yeah.
Fucking, but we're gonna anyways.
Yeah. So then we just get like a lot of him just studying like how he became like superhuman and stuff. He's doing all these tests on himself, and then like I forgot the build of like an Olympic athlete. Who knows what I'm capable of? And then yeah, he just goes on this little just typical stuff. People at the FBI is investigating the murders on the boat. Bancroft's in the hospital. Milo is starting to get a little agitated because he thinks Morbius is holding out on him, because he's like, I can't control my hunger. Yeah, you can't have the drug.
Yeah, Milo thinks that like Morbius is dead, and then he goes to the hospital and he sees Morbius is fine and well, and he's like, what the fuck? I fucking been paying for this for years, or for how long?
So where's my cup, bro?
Yeah, where's my shit? I paid for this. This is technically mine. You're holding out. And then, fucking Michael's like, no, you don't want it. It's gonna hurt you real bad. And all right, that's a bad impersonation. Good. But yeah, that was bad. But yeah, you get that scene, and then he's like, he doesn't really I was telling Eric, I'm like, he doesn't show him how bad it is. He just is like, get away. Like, it's just very generic, very cheesy, where you should have been like, yeah, you know what? Put me back in that prison I was in, and let me show you how fucking gnarly it is. But instead, he just like does the face towards him, and then Doctor Who kind of sees it and gets scared and walks away. He runs away in fear.
That's literally one of my favorite scenes of the movie in terms of what the fuck is. Milo comes in. Hey, basically we could figure this out together. No, it's my curse to bear. And then he says, "Get out, Milo, get out." He says it twice, and then finally, when Milo's leaving, he's like, "Milo," like he wants him to come back. He's like, "Bro, you yelled at him twice. Fuck you. You're stupid. This is bad writing."
This is bad writing.
Yeah, that was also what I was thinking during that whole scene, is like, he murked a bunch of mercs, okay? So then, but there's like no real emotional weight to like what he's going through or something. He's just like, I feel bad. You should feel bad for me. I can't do this. I've killed people. You can't take this drug. And Milo's just like, no, fuck that. Give me the drug.
Yeah,
let's do it.
And the fucked up part is we're supposed to feel with Morbius how he feels, but genuinely, I'm on Milo's side. 100%.
Yeah.
He's holding out on him. It's not as bad as he's making it out to be, or at least the movie's just doing a bad job of conveying that.
Because in the comics, that's how Morbius survives, is that he does like, okay, I'm going to be an anti-hero. I'm going to feed on the criminals. I'm going to feed on the worst of the worst.
But the movie establishes that he has artificial blood that he used to sustain himself instead.
Yep.
Yeah, such a fucking miracle that he has artificial blood. And again, once again, he sticks to artificial blood and doesn't try to touch any animal blood whatsoever in the film. It's just either artificial blood or regular human blood.
He does acknowledge, though, that his clock is ticking, and that like taking the artificial blood is not giving him the fix each time that he does it. So like, he's like, it holds me up for like 6 hours, but now that window's getting shorter, blah, blah, blah. Implying that eventually he will need to eat human blood or some shit.
Well, yeah, just not artificial blood. He has to consume blood of some sort. It could have been animal blood, but they can't acknowledge that in this movie, so that doesn't work out. But we do have the Federal Bureau of Investigation investigating this whole situation.
Menstrual blood.
Right?
Oh my.
I mean, you're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong. Also, he could have went to a fucking blood bank. Come on. He already committed crimes. How does he not have access?
My girl would have donated. Shit. Shit, there we go. There was a horrid sound if you guys didn't hear it. God damn it.
But yeah, that's for that zinger. And then eventually the FBI catches up to Morbius, and he's like suspect number 1 for everything. And then he gets put in prison. Milo comes to visit him, and then there's the reveal that he secretly took the cure without him noticing, because he leaves him a pack of blood for him to eat while he's in prison, and then he leaves without his cane.
Genuinely like that scene. I did like that scene. I liked how they pulled the old what was it? The Usual Suspects. You know what I'm talking about? Leave the cane behind, walk out all normal. I was like, you know what, Doctor Who, you won my vote.
Yeah, he's like the only actor in this movie that's actually
Matt
trying.
Smith, 2024.
The fact that they had went up and me and Eric were talking about the scene of when Tyrese is chasing the FBI is chasing Morbius. It just didn't make any sense how he's able. Morbius flies, goes up fucking X amount of flights of stairs, gets to the roof, and then Tyrese, not even like 10 seconds later, is on top of the roof with them. Is like, you need to calm down and you need to come with us. And what does Morbius do? He goes with them and surrounds himself with food. Instead of going back to the fucking holding cell that he knows that can hold him, he's just going to go to a prison cell where he's surrounded by people that he can kill, especially when he gets to that heightened state of where he needs to feed. That to me was just kind of
the most
stupid.
infuriating.
And he does,
yes.
Oh my god. And he's even telling them like, oh, he's showing them the face, and then they're both like.
Then he pulled the fucking Hulk line too. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry.
I did like that. I thought it was stupid, but
it was so cringe.
It was stupid.
So cringe.
Yeah, I was like, they're trying too hard to try and get in these like reference zingers and shit like that.
I thought that one was pretty good. I like that one.
He does that. Is that like? Is that like almost like breaking the fourth wall? Like, what would you even call that?
There's that scene later where he says, "I am Venom."
Venom. Yeah, it's like, come on.
In universe, these characters do exist technically.
Yeah. This was supposed to tie into Venom. I think they referenced that in the beginning. Doesn't Venom take place in San Francisco?
Okay. I don't know, but
because the FBI guy, one of the FBI guys mentions like, oh, that was that weird incident in San Francisco 8 months ago.
That's exactly what they said.
Yeah, I think they're referencing
and
Venom.
People on TV tropes, their fridge logic for how like casual the FBI agents are about the situation, about a fucking literal vampire going around. That one guy was kind of funny.
Yeah, we've seen an alien symbiote just running around, and then there was like a tiny alien invasion for a second, so at this point they'll believe anything that happens.
So I loved how casual they were, but not Tyrese Gibbons, but the guy who was with him with the mustache.
Gibson.
Yeah,
Gibson.
Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. Anyways, that dude was kind of funny, but not the funniest. But then, of course, we get Milo dancing. You were kind of breaking that down a little bit earlier, but out of nowhere, I just love that part. I love that they have an argument, and basically Michael confronts him, and he's like, I can't believe you did this. And Milo's like, dude, we could figure this out together.
It's like that YouTube video where he's like, I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, in like a cocky way, he kind of is like, we can figure this out together. It's the few against the many. And Morbius is like, no, you're bad. You're so bad. You're not supposed to do that. That's bad. And so,
yeah, the Spartan way, which it's funny because like the Spartans, they did believe in homosexuality, and like this is a historical fact. I'm not being rude. And so what they did is that they had certain lovers that were their partners that they would team up with in battle side by side, because
the boost
fighting
morale.
next to your fighting with your partner side by side would make you fight better. And they did not, and they, so essentially all the Spartans were a lot of them were bisexual. It was not a big ordeal.
All right.
Yeah, so
I don't know this tangent. I don't know where this tangent is going.
I think I also remember someone said, like, bisexuality was okay, but being the bottom wasn't. It was seen as the submissive role. You don't want to be the bottom.
Okay.
That's why they're always fighting, was for top or what?
Okay.
Yeah, basically. That's why.
All right.
I'm not an expert on Spartans.
Now that you've made this point, I want to hear how you tie it back into Brokeback Morbius.
Yeah, what does this have to do with Matt Smith and Milo?
No, it was just a weird thing for him to say, that when they grew up in Greece, because the Greeks and Spartans are very different from each other. Close, but like very different culture-wise. And it was just like, I don't know, I just thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, why would he say, like, they could just been brothers in arms or something else, but it's just a weird reference for them to.
For a guy as smart as Milo
make.
is, he probably is not well-versed in history then. Because when people think about ancient Greece, they're thinking about Athens, Greece. Sparta, Greece is a very different culture altogether.
Yep.
I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would? Yeah, that's what I was like, kind of like confused. But how'd you reference that of all places?
Because the writers didn't think about that. The writers.
I mean, I can personally headcanon hand wave it as Milo's probably gifted in sciences and math like Morbius is, but he's probably not well versed in history.
Nah, my head canon officially now is that
shit writing.
No, this is absolutely my headcanon 100%. Jared Leto starred in Mr. Nobody, where his family moved in. He moved in with his crush because the parents got together, and then they were just smashing all the time. I genuinely believe that Milo and Michael solicited a relationship growing up, and it's something that they couldn't talk about, and Milo was jealous.
So this is an alternate timeline of Mr. Nobody?
Yeah, where instead of a stepbrother...
You know, like considering the premise of Mr. Nobody, that is entirely plausible.
Absolutely. Brokeback Morbius. I'm going to say it one more time because I thought that was a genuinely funny joke. Yeah, please, somebody.
A lot of people like to rag on that movie and Jared Leto because it's fun to hate on Jared Leto, but I genuinely like that movie.
I did think that was a good movie. And now we have old Matt Smith dancing with the shirt off to the most random song in the world.
Yeah, it was giving like American Psycho vibes for a second because he's just like so feeling himself and stuff, checking himself out in the mirror, dancing, dressing himself up. He feels alive now.
Just the dancing and the song were so bad. It was so bad. I mean, like...
I actually liked the scene, but not because it was good. I just thought it was amusing.
Oh, it was so... I remember seeing it, and I was cringed the fuck up. But yeah, it's like they could have done a way better scene. Like, have him do it Spider-Man 3 style, out in public, just feeling himself, flirting with girls. They could have totally done something like that. But that was cringe as fuck. I do like
the tonal shift. I do like the shift of, once again, I side with Milo and Matt Smith because Matt Rife, no, but I do side with Milo because once again, fucking Michael's digging into him, telling him like, we can't do this. And then immediately you get to Milo feeling himself and you're like, come on, dude, he's never felt better. He's been a cripple his whole fucking life. And now he's just out there vibing. He's about to go hit the club. He's about to go hit on ladies. He's about to go suck a dude off. Not the way you think, but he is about to suck a dude. Several, actually.
Drain a dude.
Yeah. He absolutely drains some
Did you know there are 12 pints of blood in the human body?
Damn. But anyways, so he hits on a girl, sucks some dudes, and then Michael shows up.
We also get Milo creeping on Martine. That was kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's like trying to like get at Morbius by like picking on her or something, because then later like he tries to kill her to like spite him.
And like Milo's rich. Why is he trying to fuck around with like grabbing some random hood rat at the club? He just totally could hire some like high class escorts.
But
like, what is he doing?
The only time the writers,
because he's a hunter. He's having fun with the chase.
There it is.
He's a bad hunter because he still doesn't get nothing.
I mean, he killed 3 of his prey. I think it worked out just fine.
And he got
for him.
validation because that girl gave him validation. And I feel like he hasn't gotten any.
She was into it.
He hasn't gotten any female validation.
He's always been looked down as because even though he's rich as fuck, he was still a handicap.
Dude, actually, I think we made a horrible mistake by doing a movie on Morbius, and really we should take a look at Milo as a character and figure out his psychology.
A character study on Milo Morbius,
actually,
Lucian Morbius.
Genuinely, I think he would be the more interesting one.
That's low-key what this is turning into already anyways.
Yeah, because he's way cooler. Like, no one gives a shit about Jared Leto at this point. We're like, yeah, fuck you, Jared Leto. You don't know what you want. Nobody knows what you want. You're not even an anti-villain. We don't know what you are.
This is what happens when you have one character carrying the entire movie.
On his back, dude.
You know what's the funny part is too? Morbius is supposed to be like, his normal self is supposed to be a little bit more, it's supposed to be ugly. He's supposed to be bat-like is what the comics had him as, like with the Kevin Bacon nose and like the weird appearance. He's not supposed to be handsome and bearded and all these things like how Jared Leto is. So it's kind of funny that they just cast, a beautiful man as Morbius when the comics he's not that handsome. He's supposed to be kind of ugly, and Martine is supposed to be, his fiance is supposed to be getting like, she's so beautiful, and he is so ugly, and that he gets shit for it from, or she gets shit from it from other people because how disgusting he is.
I have a question, gentlemen.
Yeah.
No Jared Fogle, but what'd you guys think of that subway scene?
The fight scene?
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah, the CGI is kind of shoddy in places, but like the idea of the dynamics of them just throwing each other and moving at like supersonic speeds was kind of cool.
Bullet time.
It was a cool,
Yeah.
It was a funny scene because like, okay, like Milo's the bad guy and then Leto's the good guy, but they're dressed an opposite. Like you think Milo would be dressed in the prison suit and Morbius would be dressed in the suit, but yeah, it was kind of a funny, just silly scene. The classic slow-mo.
Who knew Milo was such a good fighter?
Well, the thing behind that, what I did my research is that because Milo's consuming the red, which is going to make you stronger, whereas Leto is consuming the blue and also not consuming as much. And then after he gets his ass kicked, he just flies away. And then Milo has that little like weird like thriller run after him. Like
It was beautiful. Yeah, Michael Jackson would be proud. So we're about to enter Act 3, but before we do have to acknowledge, since you did say red and blue, how much of this movie was inspired by The Matrix with the bullet time, the red and the blue, the random flying? Abel, as a Matrix man yourself, what do you think?
I mean, now that you mention it, it just seems like a weird coincidence.
I don't think so. Bullet time, baby. Where else did it come from? It was invented by The Matrix.
Milo thinks he's the one.
Dude, he is the one, though. I would 100% be fucking like, what if he wanted to bite me and I could join the vampire crew? I'm on board. Let's go. But that's not what happens, because somebody else gets attacked, used as bait, gets bit. Tell me what happens there.
Well, first off, I think, so then Milo starts lashing out at their adopted dad because he's trying to call him out and about his destructive behaviors. And so he's like, fuck you, you always liked him better. And he was like, no, fuck you, I always liked you better. And he's like, no, you just felt bad for me. And then he basically sort of kills him because like he dies, but like later when Michael Morbius shows up. But yeah, so he essentially kills him. And then he goes after Martine to catch her because at this point he's just like killing everything that between him and Morbius because like, no, it's just you and me against the world, and I'll make sure it's just you and me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, their father figure, and I was trying to remember who he was for the longest time, but then I looked up the cast list and I'm like, oh, it's Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes.
Ooh.
Terribly wasted actor in this movie. Like, what a waste of talent. He should have had a bigger role. I read that he was supposed to have a bigger role, but that was left on the cutting room floor.
Nah, I totally agree.
And so he's like, yeah, you have to stop him. And then Morbius senses that Milo's gonna hurt Martine, so then he shows up and he's too late. Yeah, he's basically killed her.
And I think the most important thing to mention here, because it will come to a head shortly, is previously when Martine, right?
Bancroft, whatever you want to call her.
So previously when Martine and Michael were together, he had developed something to kill. He had developed something to kill the vampire, basically. But he made two of them. He made one for him and he made one for Milo. And he basically says, I brought this into this world. I can take it out. He also says, this is deadly to bats and lethal to humans, or it's deadly to bats and it will... Anyways, what he says makes no fucking sense. And people made a bunch of memes about it.
It was trying to sound edgier than it really was supposed to.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like some kind of like zinger to make people in the audience go like, oh.
This is deadly to bats. This is deadly to bats and fatal to humans. It's like, okay, that was wildly redundant, but okay. And then she's like, why? And then he's like, I have two. So when I kill Milo, I will kill myself, is basically what he says. And then flash forward, he sees his girl die because of Milo. He goes in for the kiss. She bites his lip because she's kind of kinky. And then she like drinks his blood a little bit, which was actually very notable. And then
what? Yeah, what was that? That was like the weirdest.
I know.
What the fuck moment?
I don't get why she did that. Was it because she was trying to survive? Did she was it a last ditch effort to survive?
Who knows?
Was she trying to trigger him?
Yeah, and then she dies. He lets out a scream of anguish, and then he feasts on her, I guess.
Yep.
I guess he uses her blood to power himself up so he could go find Milo and just end this once and for all.
And then finally,
Super Saiyan.
he shows up to Milo, and you can see he's completely changed, and he finally says it. It's Morbin time.
Nope. If only.
Missed opportunity. I'm really disappointed he never said it. Actually, if he would have said it at least once, this could have had a 90% Rotten Tomato. But I digress.
I would have turned it off immediately. Like, I'm done. You know what? This is just...
Dude.
Milo says it's time to die, and he's like, no, it's Morbin time. And then he just morbs out.
Dude, I don't know, man. I was about to morb right then and there, honestly. But then it did ruin it for me.
Yeah. They fight. He has like this epic scene where like the bats surround him or something. Milo tries to stab him with a spear, but then Morbius just lays him out and then hits him with the cure to kill him. And then he is like, why would you kill me?
Yeah, I love that.
It's like, bro, you were trying to kill me.
And you killed my girlfriend and you killed her dad, and now you don't think I'm gonna kill you?
It's me, Milo.
It's me.
Your friend.
I'm your brother.
It's a me.
After he uses bat kinesis on him, dude, that was kind of those poor bats. Like he just like how fast those bats were going. I bet you a few of them had concussions. He didn't care about that. What a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, how tough were those bats that he was able just to knock him out? Wait, and why is there so many bats in that area? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. It ain't that kind of movie, kid. But anyways, and so we get like the closing montage. They try and play epic music. He's flying around, and then we see Martine open her eyes. Is she a vampire now? Yes, Papa Nasty.
Yes. Yeah, no. So, Milo dies like a bitch. He does call him like by his actual name, Lucian at the end, which that was kind of funny. He's like, Lucian. And then, Milo's like, I'm dead. I'm a bitch.
I remember everything.
I thought that was kind of funny. I remember everything.
I want to talk about the post-credit scenes, and then after we do, I will tell you the biggest plot hole of this whole fucking movie.
The absolute nonsense of the post-credit scenes.
Well, you tell me about it, because I'm like, I didn't even understand it. Yeah.
So stupid. So,
take it away, Papa
after
Nasty.
the fight scene, Tyrese and the Rodriguez show up to the crime scene, and it's clearly just like a post-crime scene. There's nothing currently going on, but Tyrese is wearing a fucking vest for some reason. I thought that was kind of funny. And then we see all the vampires disappear. Martine is now a vampire. And then we get to our post-credit scene of the Vulture, Michael Keaton's Vulture, somehow appearing in that universe, which is the Sonyverse, which is somewhat of a connection from, the Spider-Man Far From Home. And he's No Way Home, but he's staying in that universe because then it goes to another post-credit scene where him and Morbius are meeting up somewhere randomly. Morbius is driving a fucking beautiful, was it a Porsche or some type of supercar? But then he's wearing a Casio. He's driving some like super fucking badass car, but he's like wearing a Casio watch, some garbage watch. They're meeting out randomly out in the middle of nowhere. And it's like, hey, Doc, I think we should team up. I need to get back to my universe or some bullshit like that. Like,
no, he wants to team up against Spider-Man. And then Morbius.
So Spider-Man doesn't exist here.
He does.
No,
Spider-Man doesn't exist in this universe.
No, he supposedly does because there was posters of murderer.
Yeah, that were in the trailer that did not appear in the final product of the movie.
No fucking way. Oh, shit, Abel.
Yeah, dude.
That shit was in the trailer, and the director said he didn't film that scene. That was just stitched into the trailer to try and get people to watch the fucking movie.
Piece of shit.
So, Spider-Man still does not exist in this universe.
It could be Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is the speculation.
Yeah, well, so this is where it just gets so fucking weird. So, the Sonyverse does not have a set Spider-Man yet. Madam Web was supposed to be a prequel to the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but then they went back on that for some reason because the timeline's all fucked up if they try to do that. And so they try to say Madam Web's a prequel to the MCU Spider-Mans, and so I don't know what the hell they're doing here. And also, where did the Vulture make a new suit? Because the Vulture suit was made with like Chitauri reconfigured weaponry from the Avengers, which did not happen in the Sonyverse.
Yep, that's the same question I was just gonna ask. Yeah, he has like the same suit, if not even more badass than how it was.
Yeah, it's previously. A more badass suit. Like Loki, I actually did like it.
You do have to acknowledge that in Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, which would be the most likely tie-ins to these considering they're owned by Sony, the big bads were weird animal variants. And so Vulture is a weird animal variant. And so whatever lab is affiliated with them could possibly, have helped him do it. Who knows why he would do it? I don't understand why.
I mean, we know at the end of Spider-Man 2, right, that there's the costumes, the Rhino, there's the doc, that's when they were going to form the Sinister Six. I mean, maybe that's how they kind of go into that.
Yeah, a lot of people were speculating, like, is this supposed to be setting up like a Sinister Six movie? But how do you make a Sinister Six without Spider-Man? Do they just Sinister Six against other villains?
You ready for it? Andrew Garfield is in fact the Spider-Man of the Sony universe, despite what everyone thinks. Also,
despite what Sony probably thinks too.
They have a few things. They have a few Easter eggs as well. Apparently in Spider-Man 2, spoiler alert, when he kills his girlfriend, he stops being Spider-Man for roughly... What? Right?
He kills her?
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy?
He doesn't kill...
Oh,
he doesn't kill her.
He doesn't kill her. He goes to grab her, and then she dies in his arms. It was his fault. He should have done it better. He murdered her. That's right. I'm James Jonah Jameson, and I know the truth. He murdered her in the streets.
Yeah. Spider-Man. He's a criminal. He's a killer.
He's a killer. He stopped being Spider-Man for 152 days during that time. And they have a little Easter egg that says a superhero has not been seen for 90 days. And so very small, put on your tinfoil hats, but there is speculation that this is in fact in the Andrew Garfield universe.
Supposedly J.K. Simmons was supposed to cameo as Jameson in the movie, but that never happened.
Yeah. Well, see, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. So that would be another thing that would tie it into the Andrew Garfield universe.
Well, I guess J.K. Simmons is just like an anchor being or some like a Nexus being because he plays J. Jonah Jameson in every freaking universe, it seems.
True.
Because he's in the MCU and he's in the Raimi-verse.
There is speculation that there's going to be a Amazing Spider-Man 3. They're setting up Sinister Six in this movie. At the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, they were trying to set up they still have plans despite.
And what the hell are they going to do with Scorpion in Spider-Man Homecoming?
Yeah, despite this movie bombing, they still have plans for some upcoming movies to continue to develop the Sonyverse. So they do plan to do a Sinister Six thing. Like, regardless.
So what the original plan for King Dynasty was that they were going to do Battle World, which is what would cause all the heroes and villains from the multiverse to collide all together. So they can still possibly do that, but that's what the original plan with King Dynasty was that they were going to he was bringing all the heroes, the anchor beings from each universe to put them on there to die or some bullshit like that, or a certain way, but that's how they're going to do it, is that put them on Battle World. That's how we're going to have the Logan of that universe. That's where we're going to have Tobey Maguire. We're going to have Tom Holland. We're going to have Steve Rogers.
50-year-old Peter Parker trying to Spider-Man his way out.
Yeah, we're going to have an orgy on this island and have all these heroes collide and fight villains from the multiverse and get those old school clashes that we've always wanted to see.
That's a good point. Papa Hiccups, I did want to mention one last thing before we end this I mean, we got a little bit of ways to go, but biggest. Okay, so help me out here, Abel, because I want to hear what you have to say. First of all, we picked this movie because it was bad, the writing was bad, etc. But
yeah.
All right. He makes 2 poisons, one to kill Milo, one to kill himself. He defeats Milo and then goes on a misadventure and decides to team up with a stranger to fight a boy he doesn't even know. What the fuck? He was supposed to kill himself. He was supposed to
Maybe he used it to kill Martine now that she's a vampire.
He's supposed to Romeo and Juliet that shit, and he didn't. He didn't take up his end of the deal. He did it, and then he was like, "Never mind, I'm too scared. I'm gonna live with this curse by myself." Wow.
He's like, you know what? It kind of feels good being an anti-hero.
Well, after he kills Milo, when him and Milo could have teamed up and been anti-heroes together, they could have balanced each other out and yinged and yanged it. I'm pissed. I'm so mad at this movie. But also, I mean, it took me 3 days to watch it. I had to watch it per act until I was finally like engaged enough to finish it. But the first act was hard to watch. The second act man, I couldn't do it. And then by the third act, I was like, all right, now some exciting stuff is happening. But they dragged that shit out too long of introducing how he became Morbius. Then the second act is practically, now I have to learn my powers and then rush this boss, this final boss, even though we could have had a much better final boss established for it. But I got to hear, Abel, since you are the one that picked this movie, and also this is your first time seeing it, what the hell did you think about it?
I just morbed all over the place, man. Like, I couldn't contain myself. No, the movie was just all over the place. I don't know what the hell Sony was trying to do here with this. They were hyping it up so freaking hard too, and everyone could see a mile away. Like, oh, they're trying way too hard. This movie is bad. It's gonna be bad. But I'm curious now about Madam Web, because I remember when Madam Web came out, people were like, so there were two camps of people that are gonna go see Madam Web. There were people that were gonna go see Madam Web because they want to see Sydney Sweeney, and there were people that wanted to go because they're like, it can't be worse than Morbius. And it was indeed worse than Morbius.
Aww.
And so I'm curious to see Madam Web.
It's so bad. Heads up.
I've seen some of the clips already. Dakota Johnson's delivery is so phoned in.
The fact she phoned it in too. Dude, they did even worse. Budget was...
I read she fired her agent immediately after the movie came out.
Oh my... Dude, the budget was pretty much broken even. It was $100 million, and then they made $100 million. And I don't even think people are ironically liking this movie. It has an 11%, which is much lower by critics, and then a 57% by audience score. So people really did.
Yeah, they said they couldn't even meme about the movie. It was just, there's nothing to go off of.
No, you couldn't even so you can't blame the agent on that one, because on paper it does sound like a great idea, but the overall writing of it was just so bad. The fucking fight scenes, the CGI, the storyline, how it developed was just terrible.
Well, it's not just Madam Web, it's that her agency just keeps putting her in bad movies.
Oh.
It's a recurring trend for her, so that's why she just fired her agency, because she was told that Madam Web was going to be a hit, or like she was going to get something out of this, and it did not pan out. So she was like, fuck you guys, I'm getting a new agent.
From the people who wrote Morbius, the most acclaimed movie of the year, we bring you Madam Web. I would have, I obviously, that's not how agents work and, the industry works, but I'm like, fuck, dude, she had to back out the moment she saw what those writers did on Morbius.
Yeah, I read that Sydney Sweeney actually did some research about the Spider-Woman character she'd be playing, but that ended up only being like in the movie for like 5 seconds, and she like insisted on like doing the shot where she's doing the upside down Spider-Man hang. She insisted on like doing that. I think she actually did it.
That's cool.
She was like so about it, but clearly the writers didn't give a shit about that.
Did any Letterboxd reviews stand out to you? Because this is an interesting one to see some of the Letterboxd reviews, because you have people being honest about the movie, and then you have the memesters, the memesters who are all about that Morbiusi. I'm not entirely sure how the kids are using that word nowadays. But the number one written about this is
the joke went too far. I actually saw Morbius.
I bought tickets to this ironically, and then sat down in the empty theater and realized now I had to actually watch Morbius. Yeah. Someone said straight people Twilight.
One thing I'll say for Morbius is that at one point Jared Leto does a Hadouken and shoots a beam of bats. It's not as cool as it sounds. Literally the movie version of You're Not You When You're Hungry, trademark Snickers ad.
Damn, that is good. That is really good.
It's just so fucking good though. You saw the guy on the front page, right? That had just like the longest "I love this movie." Like, can we do this? Can we? Do you think we got it in us to read this whole ass review?
Hold up, I'm a few pages in. You can read it.
I got this. Okay, by Joey. He gave this a 5-star review on March 2022, the March 22nd, 2022. What can I say? I laughed. I cried. I smiled. I got scared. I shit. God damn it! I lost it. I shit my pants. Actually, oh my god. Okay. I gotta get in character. This is great.
Hold up, I can do this.
I got this. Believe in me. Believe in me. Believe in this. Believe in me. Okay.
All right. If you trip up one more time, I'll read it.
Okay. I'm in character. What can I say? I laughed. I cried. I smiled. I got scared. I shit. God damn it. Take it. I can't say it.
Okay. What can I say? I laughed. I cried. I smiled. I got scared. I shit my pants.
It gets worse.
Oh my
It
gosh.
gets worse. Actually, oh God,
Come on, Abe.
it's so hard. It's not.
I think the collectiveness of us trying to hold it together is making it funnier. I think that's the problem here. I could totally read this if we weren't talking
Okay,
right now.
I shit my pants. Actually, God damn it. Actually, everyone.
Everyone shit their pants. Morbius did not just eclipse Jack and Jill as the greatest film ever released by Sony Pictures, nor did it just obliterate Battlefield Earth as the medium's greatest achievement. It transcends film, it transcends literature, it transcends art, it transcends human comprehension. I only gave it a 5 out of 5 because I couldn't give it an infinity out of 5 because his website sucks dick and is stupid. Morbius invented humanity. The instant the Marvel logo shows up on the screen, you actually physically leave your seat because you are gravitating. And then Jared Little, he said Little, not Leto. Oh my God, sweet Jared Little. I feel so bad for him. Spent so many years being too little. He was too little to fit on the screen at Suicide Squad. But the instant he shows up on the screen, I can't piss and shit my pants. The instant he appeared and looked at the screen and said, "I'm acting," everyone said in unison, "Wow, he is literally me." Jared Little brings so much to this movie. He becomes Jared Biggle by the end. In fact, after walking out of the theater, I joined his cult and I'm going to every 30 Seconds to Mars concert. And I'm taking a vacation on the island where he has a cult and walks around dressed like Jesus because Jared Little is Jesus. Morbius might in fact be the second coming of Christ. I don't think anyone's prepared for this movie. It is not going to be April. It is now Morbi April.
What the fuck?
That was the greatest thing. Good.
I had
Oh my
to
God.
take off my headphones because your laughing was throwing me off. I was like, fuck this. I can't do this.
Good job though, because that was so hard to get through. It was incredible. I shit.
Eric is crying, folks. Eric West is crying.
I almost cried because I was laughing so hard.
Dude, I'm sweating.
Abel is losing his shit also. Yeah, Eric looks like he's
Oh my God.
he's shitting his pants also.
Yeah,
Oh my
I shit
God.
my pants. Actually, everyone shit their pants.
Damn, like that was funnier than when I said about that guy barking in the theater at Madam Web.
That was pretty good though. Abel, I feel like that rounds us out though. If you wanna ask the big questions.
All right, guys. Yeah, vouch for me.
I morb for you.
I'll more for you.
All right, we morbed all over the place.
But other than that, absolutely not. This movie was dog shit, and you knew it coming in, so I don't even feel bad saying it.
The meme was to like get people to watch the movie knowing it was bad, and then people watch the movie and they're like, wow, it wasn't even redeeming. There's like one good meme about this movie and it's not even in the movie. It's Morbin time.
Oh my God.
That's so bad.
Kill, watch, marry.
Kill it.
Kill it.
Yep.
Kill it like they killed the best character in the movie.
Yep. I'm gonna take that poison, put it right in its chest, and we are killing it, baby. Jesus Christ. Great job, though. Great choice, though. That was an amazing way to round this out. Things only grew more and more that we got into these critical bombs. Kung Pao, genuinely like a really fun movie. Anyone you bring up to, they laugh about it. They like it. They think it's one of those staples. We got into Godzilla. People like to laugh about it, but no one liked Godzilla. And then, but there were still some redeeming factors. Now, Morbius is just the laughing stock of the movie community, but I'm so glad you did it just based on all of the reception. You followed it in real time, I think, on Twitter, didn't you, Abel?
Yeah, I watched a bunch of this shit unfold. I watched how like fans literally were saying, yo, if we get Morbin time trending, Sony might re-release the movie because they think people want to see it. And so they're like trending like it's Morbin time. They're trending like re-release Morbius or something. And Sony did it. And then the movie bombed at the box office.
Jesus Christ.
It's like the execs at Sony just don't understand meme culture. Like they're shitting on this movie.
Dude.
They don't like it.
We saw that bomb. One day, Disney's going to buy Sony. I don't want it to happen, but watch it happen after.
It's going to happen. They're buying everything under the sun.
But since we're talking about Marvel anyways,
We're all going to Disneyland.
we're going to work for Disneyland, whether or not we'll like it, bud. But since we are talking about Marvel, we got to acknowledge the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine, Papa Nasty's idea, 1.7K views. Thank you, Vouchers. You guys are fucking incredible.
We love you guys.
We
Thank
appreciate it.
No, that's big time. Like seriously cool. I think Papa Nasty's got a nose for these things. And so we have our ideas coming up are going to the theaters to see a few more things.
Yeah, we should try and make a habit of let's try and see like an actual in theaters movie like once or twice a month while we're also doing our just general history picks.
We got history picks. Love the idea. Long legs coming up, of course. I think Abel, you were pitching the idea of Twisters.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw Twisters with my girlfriend last week or the week before. The week before, I think. And I liked it. It was pretty good.
He vouches for it, but do we vouch for him?
We'll have to see.
Did you come?
I gravitated out of my seat.
Oh.
That's gotta say something.
I know. I know what that means.
You like that? You look like the cow on the cover of Twister that was just flying around all crazy.
That reminded me of this tweet I saw where someone said, I went to the theater to see Twisters and I saw someone show up in a cow costume. Cinema is so fucking back.
But yeah, we got some stuff cooking vouchers. We do appreciate you guys a lot.
We love you guys. Thank you.
We've been seeing numbers go up, but we don't care about that. We just care about you guys, your guys' engagement. So everything about this is fun. Like, we just love being able to bullshit for you guys. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for literally everything. But I think we're gonna have to bid our farewells.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's time for us to go, Joe.
The Eric show's over.
The bar is closed. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your night. Stay tuned for some more episodes.
Appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. We love you. Respond in the comments, and we will respond back.
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment, and give us a follow.
Hey, and leave a 5-star
Yeah.
review on Spotify. Somebody's got to do it. Jesus Christ. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Come on.
Hey,
What are you
man, I
guys
can only
doing?
make so many burner accounts. Sorry.
Come on, guys.
All right. Goodbye.
appreciate
Only a matter
you.
of time
Love
before
you guys.
Gmail bans me.
Good night. We love you.
Later, y'all.
Bye.